You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Hemlock Grove After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Hemlock Grove After Show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Feeling it.
Bing is for doing. And here we are doing another amazing after show for our favorite show and your favorite show, Hemlock Grove. We are on season 1, and these are episodes 3, 4, and 5, Order of the Dragon, In Poor Taste, and Hello, Handsome. I am your host, Shano, and I'm joined here by my 3 lovely lady co-hosts.
Woohoo!
Hello, everyone. I'm Marisa Serafini.
Hi, I'm Tiona Hobson.
And hi, I'm JJ Jurgens.
And we have an amazing show planned for you guys tonight. We're going to be speaking via, is it via Skype? Are we going to be doing it?
Yeah,
okay, well, we have Tiio
Horn.
Tiio Horn. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, Tiio. We have Tiio Horn calling in, who plays Destiny Rumancek on the show.
And she's calling right now.
And she's calling right now.
Tiio, you're on the line with AFTERBUZZ TV's Hemlock Grove.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Tiio. This is Sean O right here, and I'm your host.
Hello there.
Thanks for joining us. And Marisa was so awesome to get in touch with you, Tiio, and we're glad to have you here. We have so many questions to ask you.
Oh my God, I feel like so much pressure now.
No pressures.
No pressure at all.
No, we only got like 100 questions to ask you. No, I have a few.
Oh my God, okay.
Well, thank you so much.
I'll try and answer them as best as I can.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, let's start generally. So how did you get started with your acting career?
Okay, well, I think, like, okay, so I started doing, I was always sort of involved in, like, dance or, like, what, like, after-school kind of programs, and then I did a couple of theater things in elementary school, and then when I was in grade 5, I went with my sister and my mom to see Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and I was kind of like, oh my God, this is really funny, and this guy, like, makes a living doing this. Like, I think that's, like, when it first clicked, like, that could be, instead of just, like, fireman, policeman, doctor, dentist, like, in school, that's what they basically make you feel like the only choices you have are. So I was like, oh, my God, acting. So then I kind of, like, got interested in it. It took, like, a couple courses in Ottawa, and there was not, like, I grew up on my reserve, and I only had, like, 57 students when I first went into high school, on my high school, and there wasn't really anything, there was no, like, arts offered, so I concentrated on being an athlete, and I was a swimmer, and I played water polo for 5 years, and so I decided that when I was going to college, when I was 16, I was going to go into theater. It was kind of like I was like, well, I guess there was like 2 options you could do when you're like signing up for college, and I was like, well, I just want to go to theater, and I kind of like closed my eyes and like pointed my finger at like anything on the thing on the application. I was like, oh, photography, okay. So I put that as my second, and I auditioned and I went to theater school for 3 years, and then then I started doing this.
Oh, wow.
When I was 19.
You mentioned water polo there. Your sister played in the Olympics, is that correct?
Yeah, when I was 14, my sister was 24, and she went to the 2000 Sydney Olympics for Team Canada.
That's great.
Go Canada.
Canada.
So what attracted you to choose Hemlock Grove?
Well, I think it's really like kind of what like every actor kind of, would love to do. Like I've discovered, and I've sort of always known that I don't really want to do for the rest of my life. I mean, like, no offense to it, like, there's some people, you know, who make, like, amazing livings doing, like, kind of, like, you know, not to, like, shit talk CSI, but, you know, like, formulaic kind of, like, that kind of shows. And I don't know if I'm, like, able to play, like, a cop for the rest of my life. So, like, when I get auditions, like, playing a gypsy prostitute witch, you know, on this, like, new kind of platform like Netflix, like, it was, I don't know, it felt like I need to fucking, I need to really get this, you know? Am I allowed to swear on this?
Well, you can do whatever you want. What was the process like?
I'm sorry.
What was the process like?
was what?
The process, like auditioning for this role, or, you know, how many auditions do you have to go through, or?
Well, I actually only went through 2. Like, I did my first audition. All I got was, like, I think 2 scenes. The first 2 scenes that you see me in, those are the audition scenes that I had. I mean, you try and, like, gather as much as you can from that, and I looked up gypsies as much as I could. I'm already, like, super into Goran Bregovic. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He's like this, like composer from Serbia, and yeah, I'm like really into him. Anyways, he plays like really awesome gypsy music. So I listened to a lot of Goran Bregovic, and I kind of just, like, you know, you have to make strong choices when you go in there. So I made some choices, and I worked on it a lot. I Skyped with my coach 1 or 2 times, and then I found out that I got the call back, and my manager was like, "You should read the book before you go in there." And I actually had like 10 days before the callback. Like, the audition, you know, the first audition, I think I had like 3 days or something. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to get a book read in like 3 days. So I read the book before my callback, and again I did another session with my coach on Skype, and then I don't know, I just kind of, like I said, you have to make some strong choices. And the other girl who was in there, like, there was only like 2 of us, I think, in the waiting room, and the other girl was so incredibly different from me. She was like a foot shorter than me, like a lot darker complexion, and just like the way we were dressed was so different. Like, I kind of just wore this like red off-the-shoulder shirt and a pair of jeans. And, like, I took off my shoes. I just remember that when I was in front of, like, Eli Ross and, like, the writer and the casting directors and everything, I, like, walk in with my flip-flops, and I was like, "Do you mind if I just take off my shoes?" And they're like, "Okay, yeah, no, sure, get comfortable." So, yeah.
And the vibe on set, the vibe on set, how were the scripts kept? Were you guys in the know of scripts? Were they kept pretty top secret, or how was that? No, I think it wasn't top secret at all, I don't think. I mean, like, the writers and the producers, they kind of wanted to make sure that they, like, that the cast was tight, you know, and, like, that we had, like, a relationship with, like, the writers and stuff, that, like, we could, if we had, you know, any ideas or anything, we could potentially, like, bring it to the table, and they would consider it. But I mean, the stuff that they had anyways was awesome. Like, there's nothing to change about it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it wasn't top secret or anything.
Very cool. Most of your scenes are usually with Roman and Peter. Did you get the chance to interact with any of the other actors on set?
Well, I do have some scenes with Lily Taylor, which was, like, super, like, I mean, in, like, on the show, no, I only have scenes with, like, a few other people, and I didn't really, like, hang out with, I didn't really get to interact with, like, Famke or Dugray, because, like, I never saw them, you know, like, we never crossed paths. Like, all my stuff is, you know, in my little apartment there. So
which is a very nice...
whoever comes to see me, you know, that's who I end up having seen with, so.
I guess...
And my Johns, you know.
Your apartment's very nice on the set, by the way. So it's a very good living that Destiny happens to make on the show, right?
I know, right? Like my apartment, is that what you mean? It was like super cool. I was like, I wish I lived in this apartment.
So how would you describe, as you know, your character Destiny, how would you describe her ability? So far, we're up to episode 5, and she seems to get possessed in some way, and she's able to communicate with like the dead woman, the victim from the previous werewolf attack. How would you describe what her abilities are?
I don't think she sees exactly what, I think she's in the whole show, I think she's one person who is the most connected to, just connected in general, you know what I mean? To Earth, in tune with things around her. And I think that she gets feelings, you know, she's not like, you're going to walk into that room and you're going to stub your toe in that chair, you know, like she doesn't, like she doesn't have like visions like that, you know what I mean? But if she does channel anything, it's kind of, you know, like when you saw her get possessed or whatever, she had to make somewhat, not a potion, but, you know, she had the worm and everything, and like she didn't just like channel the beings through, anyways, am I making sense?
Yeah.
In any way? Okay.
Since you started talking about the worm and, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Were you finished? I didn't want to jump over you. I was going to ask.
Yeah, no, I'm finished.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were, then I was like, oh, maybe she wasn't. Since you were talking about the worm and things, you have to deal with a lot of disgusting, like, props on the show. Can you tell us, like the beginning scene, you spit out things when your mouth is all bloody and there's, like, little balls on the ground and, you know, like with the worm. What are those things made out of that you're having to deal with?
Okay, that's funny because, like, actually, I remember I got a call when we were shooting. Well, not like when we're, but like, you know, over the time of shooting. And they're like, we need you to come in or they're like, they need you to go in to test a worm. Like my agent was like, I don't really understand what's going on here, but you have to like go in and test the worm. And I was like, really? I'm like, okay. So they're like, they came and they picked me up and they brought me all the way to the studio or like the studio with all the special effects guys and everything. And they're like, so we made a couple prototypes, and they had this like jelly worm thing that they like really spent a lot of time making. And they're like, they really want you to just swallow it whole, like a pill. I'm like, I'm not allowed to chew this. I'm like, I'm not allowed to chew this gigantic thing here. And they're like, they really would like it if you could just swallow it whole. I was like, oh, God. I'm like, okay, but I'm like, does anybody here know like the Heimlich maneuver? Because I don't know how to get this down. Anyways, I tried the first time, and it was huge. It was like the size of almost the size of, well, you guys don't have them there, but loonies, like a dollar. And I was like, okay, here goes. And like the special effects guys are like holding their camera phones, like taping me. And like all these like 5 guys, like, and the driver like around me watching. And I gagged. Like the first time it went down like this a little bit, and then I was like, oh, and then I had to like totally spit it all into the garbage. I was like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Like, you really have to make it smaller. And so yeah, I had like 3 goes at it. But I think when we actually shot it, yeah, I had like maybe, like you see me trying, like I have to kind of do like a double, like get it down there, you know? Like no chewing.
And then what was in the jar? Like they had it in all that stuff oozing in the jar. What was that coming out of the jar?
Oh my God, it tasted like strawberries. I don't know what it was, but it tasted like strawberries. And there was a guy underneath the table that the jar was on. There was a guy underneath there the whole time. Every time I would open that thing, he would pump this thing, and the blood and pus and stuff would like come out of that thing. So like the whole time, there's this dude like at my feet pumping this thing. Anyways, yeah, that was made out of like strawberry stuff, and then the stuff I threw up. I feel like I'm giving away all kinds of secrets.
I like it.
The stuff that I threw up was oatmeal. The guy was like, "What kind of oatmeal do you want?" I was like, "I don't know." brown sugar.
That's great.
So yeah, that was oatmeal, and I mean, but you know what? This is like, I remember talking to my manager when I was shooting this, and I was shooting Defiance at the same time, and I was like, I'm having so much fun. This is why I became an actor. You know, like this is what I want to do. I want to get my hands dirty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And have
I
fun.
love it. And I love Destiny. When you after you consume the worm, she just licks the foam, and it's supposed to be blood, but just so nasty, but awesome.
Yeah, and you're just like, I gotta rinse my mouth, or I need mouthwash, whatever. It was great.
So during that possession scene, we keep coming back to this because it was such a powerful scene to you. With your eyes went so crazy and big and black, and even right before the change, like a microsecond before, we see your character's eyes dilate, and then when she comes back, they're just huge. Now, what were those? Was that CGI? Was that contacts? Combination of both?
Well, I don't know. The big black, like when my eyes are totally possessed, those are like big contacts, which were a lot of fun to wear. But the pupil dilating thing, I don't know. I guess that's CGI.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't do it. Or unless I did. I don't know.
How difficult was it to get those contacts in?
Okay. So it's funny that you asked me about these contact things. I'm just going to, like, say something about those contacts. Because I was shooting on Defiance at the same time, and I wore crazy orange contacts, I would wear them for like 5 days at a time sometimes, and my eyes ended up getting like scratched and damaged. And so I had this like super like terrible like 10 days where these like drops and everything, and I couldn't wear the contacts, and they had to like shoot around me. And like the week after that, I had to go and shoot on Hemlock Grove with these contacts. So it was like, oh my God, the contacts, you know, like everybody's like, it was like I had somebody helping me to put them in. There's like literally like a girl there to like put drops in your eyes when you need them. And so there was like a lot of help because I almost like lost my sight on the other show.
Wow.
But yeah, fun time.
So I just got a message from our engineer Steven, and he was asking, how are your feelings about appearing topless on a national TV show?
Oh my God. Okay, you know what's funny?
And only Steven would ask this.
I'm from a reserve, like a reservation. So I know everybody. Everybody knows me. And I think being topless on a national television show, I kind of don't really. my friend's looking at me like, oh my God, because she didn't finish the series. She's like, you go topless. Anyways, so for me, I think the topless thing is like, because I have done it before, and I like really, really try and choose carefully if I do end up doing that on a production. And I thought it was done tastefully on this. I'm happy with how it turned out. It was just, I don't really care nationally. It's when I have like my, I don't know, like neighbor or like, you know, like people in my town, like, hey, saw episode, you know, and you're like, oh my God, yes, you did. So I think it's more when like people I know saw me, that like freaks me out a little more than people I don't know, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
That's brave.
Now, if there's a season 2, which I think we're all hoping for, would you love to come back?
Oh my God, yes. Yes, I'm like, fingers crossed. No, she was such a fun character. And like, one thing I hate is like, you know, when you like you just start like getting into it, like really getting into it, and you're like, oh my God, I know her so well now. And then it's like, and we're wrapped season 1. So you're just, man, I want to go again, you know? So I'd love to play her again, for sure.
How long were you guys shooting for? Because I know you shot all 13 episodes back to back. So how long was the production process for you?
Well, it was, I don't know, I think they started in June or July. I think, and it went until December 14th or something. So it was pretty freaking long. But I mean, I would only come in, like, for each episode, I would shoot that whole episode in one day. Like, it would be, you know, like my day, like everything for that episode. So I would only come in like once every like 2.5 weeks, once every 3 weeks.
Wow.
Okay.
Interesting.
Right on. A little bit of a detour here, because I noticed that you did some voiceover work for a character you played in Assassin's Creed 3. And I'm a little bit of a video game buff. I haven't played Assassin's Creed, though, but it's so cool that you also did some voice acting for Assassin's Creed. So what's the biggest difference for you, you know, to be a television actor or a screen actor versus doing voiceover work?
Well, okay, so the thing about that one is I actually did the mocap as well. So I had like the whole suit on and like the camera on my head.
Motion capture.
It's so weird to shoot that stuff. It's like in this like huge room, and they're like, okay, so there's wind and there's snow. You're in 6 feet of snow right now, but you're like in this like spandex outfit with like white balls all over you. Anyways, so I also did that. So I didn't really, but when I did do voiceover is when my character speaks Mohawk. So I went in, and that's when I got to do. That was like so. It was pretty rewarding. I was pretty proud that I got to speak my own language. And like my cousin was there, and he was hired actually on the production for translating and for coaching in the studio. So that was like, the voiceover stuff was pretty intense. Like by the time I was finished the session, I felt like my brain was gonna like melt out of my ears. Like, you know, like it was just like a lot of work. But I also I've done like cartoons and stuff like that. And I mean, it's different, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not just like standing in the booth like blah blah blah, you know, like you're still like kind of moving around and being animated, and you know, so I don't find it's like you know, that much different. I don't find the process is that much different. It's just like a different medium.
Yeah. So with that background, could you see yourself doing like some action movies, maybe being like the next Lara Croft or something?
Oh my God, I would love to do that. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like super fun. Actually, when I did see that, because like because when we were making it, I was like, so like just asking like the guys like behind the computers and stuff and the directors, I'm like, so like you guys, you know, like confident, like you think this can do like pretty well or whatever? And they're like, this is like one of the biggest video games in the world. I was like, really? And they're like, we have, in pre-sales, we've already beat the Avengers in the box office or something like that. I was like, okay, so it's like a big deal. I'm like, I had no idea. And then so when it came out, my nephew went and got it, like after he finishes his chores, like during the week, at the end of the week, he can get like something. So he got a video game, and he got that one. And I went next door, because he lives next door, and I went next door to watch, and I was like, oh my God, this is so weird. He's like, and my sister's like, listen to your auntie, because like I'm telling like, you know, like the player like where to go. Yeah. But watching it, I was like, whoa, she's so badass. I'm like, I would love to do this kind of stuff. I would love to do like I mean, in Immortals, like I had this like small part in Immortals, but I got to do some of my own stunts. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Especially having a background as an athlete, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we just, me and Marisa, we actually just watched that scene before we came into the studio, because I watched Immortals when it came out in theaters, but me and her were just watching it on Netflix, and it was an awesome scene where you and the other high priestesses, you like take out your blades and you stab all the guards and stuff.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm talking about. Yeah, that was so much fun.
Pretty badass.
Yeah, and then afterwards, you totally get threatened, you and the other high priestesses, you get threatened by Mickey Rourke, and he's like whispering in your ear how he's gonna like kill you and just do bad things to you later on. How was it to have Mickey Rourke whispering those sweet bad things in your ear?
It was pretty interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. It was fun. I mean, we like once he like came in there and we shot his stuff, like he improvised a lot. So I was like, all right, okay, Mickey, I can keep up with you. I got this. So I know it was pretty fun.
That's cool. I like how you your characters that you choose to play. You have a high priestess to this gypsy fortune teller. It's kind of like a.
As she would say, a sacred whore.
Sacred whore, yeah. But are there any other kind of characters you'd like to portray in the future?
I think I would like to try, just a happy, kind of like a girl next door. I mean, it sounds like so boring, but honestly, I've played a serial killer on this. You guys got to check out. It's on Netflix in the States. It's called The Theater Bazaar, and it's a series of it's kind of remember Tales from the Crypt or
yes.
Remember how there would be a series of short films. It's kind of like that. And I'm in one of them, and I play this whacked out. I play this whacked out serial killer, and I kill these people, and then I take a needle and I stick it in their eyeball, and I suck out their vitreous fluid, and then I inject it into my eyeball.
Oh, nice!
And then I see everything that they lived. You know, because when you're dying, your light flashes before your eyes.
Oh, wow. That seems
yeah, so see, I play stuff like that, and I play moody bitches, and I play this priestess and whatever, and I think I just I would one day like to try something just just me kind of thing.
You need a nice romantic comedy.
Yeah, I mean, but then I'll probably do it and be like, screw this, never again, kind of thing.
But I don't get to kick ass in this role.
Yeah. So can I ask? I'm the guy in the booth who asked the random question earlier. Is there what kind of vibe do you like on set? Because I'm sure there's a very different vibe when you're working with the people from 18 to Life than when you're working with people on Hemlock Grove. Is one a little bit more preferable to the other? One's a very serious kind of supernatural drama, and then one's a very comedic show. Which do you kind of like being in the moment of?
Even though Hemlock Grove was a serious supernatural mystery, it was pretty fun on set. From when I was on set, I don't know about, when they were all shooting. I think they had fun, but I think it was a light mood. It wasn't really a heavy set, you know what I mean? I don't know, 18 to Life. That was a while back. It was, okay, so the weird thing, though, is, on all of these things, I have, these little, I have, an awesome part, but I usually, come on, do a little bit, and then, leave. I'm never, part of the core cast, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I can only, share my experiences from my, 1 or 2 days in a row on set, every 3 weeks, and I always have a good time. It's always a light mood for me, I don't know if I answered your question, but
no worries. Do you think that having this experience on Hemlock with these new serious shows and Netflix is really going to open doors for your career, though?
I frickin' hope so. Yeah, I hope so. It's really this and Defiance are kind of the first American things, that I've had, and I'm so lucky that they're two amazing characters, that people aren't necessarily going to be I'm not the lead or anything, but I hope I'm memorable, and then I've accomplished what I want to accomplish, just who's that girl again? The one, you know, like I'm probably going to be that girl maybe.
That one convulsing prostitute.
Threw up the worm.
Well, Destiny is definitely rememberable.
Yes.
She's awesome on the
Yes,
show.
she is.
And so are you.
So you.
I'm so happy to hear that.
So Tiio, you mentioned you got Defiance going on, and we want to hear about that and what other projects you got going on in the near future.
Well, yeah, it was so crazy, like, lucky that Defiance and Hemlock Grove were shooting in Toronto at the same time, and I got to be on both of them. Like, I don't know, when I got two great, you know, characters on both of them. I don't know how that happened, but I was really, really lucky. And what do I got coming up? I have nothing. No, I'm hoping that they get picked up for a second season, both of them, because it would be a pleasure to work on both of them again. I wrote a short film last year, and I shot it last summer, and it's not like it's about working in a cigarette store. On my reserve. And it's like a 5-minute short, and I play like 3 different characters, and I mean, it's not like Shakespeare or anything, but you know, I kind of did it just to prove to myself, like, okay, I can do it. Like, I'm, you know, kind of tired of waiting around to be given, you know, the chance to tell a story. I want to tell a story, you know, on my own terms. So I sat down and I wrote it, and my friend who owns a production company, she was like, she wanted to shoot something, no budget, whatever. So we shot it last year in one day. And then it went to like a couple little festivals, and it won like the jury prize at my union's short film festival. I don't know. Anyways, so it just proved to me, I'm like, okay, I can do it. I can make, I can make something, you know? And so I, from that, it like gave me the courage to write another short film, but like a true story about something my mom did in the 60s. So that's what I kind of, that's like in my mind, that's what project is going on in my mind right now. But I mean, I hope they get picked up for Defiance and Hemlock Grove, get picked up for a second season. That'd be a lot of fun. And who knows, you know, like I don't know, I'm just auditioning right now, you know, doing the rounds.
Right on. Yeah. Right on to you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We enjoyed this interview, this conversation with you about your role on the show. If our fans want to follow you, where's the best place to do it? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook? What do you got?
Twitter. Follow me on Twitter.
What's your
Twitter doesn't stress me out.
And your @ sign on Twitter, it's at Tiio Horn, right?
No, it's Tiio Horn at Kaniehtiio. Kaniehtiio is my full name. But I think if you just type in Tiio Horn, you'll find me, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Right? I think so.
Yeah, we found you today.
I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure there's not like more than one. Is there another Tiio Horn out there? I don't think.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for calling.
We really appreciate. Sorry.
Feel free to call
pleasure.
in.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, feel free to call in anytime.
Yes.
Okay, sure. Okay. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, so that was fantastic.
She's
man.
awesome.
I don't think Marisa stopped smiling throughout the entire interview.
So awesome.
I just kept looking at her face, and she just had a grin from ear to ear. She was beaming. That was awesome.
You got your little.
My day is made. My year is made.
You got your fangirl satisfaction.
I did.
Right?
I really did.
So, oh my gosh, that was great. So let's go ahead and try to wrap up these topics in the next 30 minutes, right?
Alrighty.
You guys have time. You guys can go into the next hour.
Leave it to Steven to bring up the boobs. Can I just say that?
It's a very valid question, guys.
Yes, thank you, Steven.
It's a career move that you have to really seriously
Spoiler
decide.
alert for you guys.
Hey, it
There's boobs.
is a pretty sexy show. Come on, we have lesbian action going on.
Yeah.
Like
There's a lot of lesbian action.
at the beginning of episode 3, right? So we had we got Chasseur. Chasseur, how do you say her name?
Dr. Chasseur.
Chasseur.
I'm going with Clementine.
Clementine.
Much easier.
That's easier. I just Clementine.
Exactly. So
But I like the name Chasseur.
Yeah, it
Sounds
was pretty
cool.
I like
It's
it.
actually French for hunter.
Oh, she's hunting a wolf.
And she's hunting wolves.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny?
She's a digger.
Dr. Chasseur kind of reminds me of a female Van Helsing, who's very religious, questioning God and humanity, and hunting this monster. That's
I can get down with that.
like a modern day, a modern day female Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very subtle, a very subtle Van Helsing.
Yeah.
So
I gotta say,
Oh no! I was gonna say we're gonna talk. Let's talk about that, and then of course we're also gonna talk about Christina kisses a corpse. And anyway, let's go back to Chasseur. You were gonna say, JJ?
no, last comment. I really like the casting of females in this show. Like, I think they're like beautiful, but they're also like great actors and strong. And it's not, I don't know. I think they just have a lot of levels and a lot of strength to them, and just are very fun and interesting to watch.
And there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's barely any males.
Yeah,
actually.
and that's kind of rare for a TV show, I feel. And I think it's girl power all the way.
Oh, definitely. And
Yeah.
I like how all the female characters, they're so different from each other. They're not really bleeding into, oh, this person's like this person. No, they're all very distinct.
Yes.
And I noticed that everybody, the males and the females on the show, that everybody has their weaknesses. They all have these like fatal flaws that we get to see, and especially Chasseur, right? We got to see her at first. Okay, at first we see that she's pretty strong. She seems like a well-educated individual. She's she's got all her technology in the back of her truck, right? She's testing the hair from the dung.
Oh my god, that was so gross.
And then later on, when we go up to episode 5, we see that she has a drinking problem, and the reason why she wears that thing around her neck, that little St. Jude pendant around her neck, is because she has a troubled past. Like, even though she had to do that one thing, I know I'm like jumping ahead here a little bit, but even though she had to kill that one, we don't know what that thing was. Let's talk about that in a little bit. But she killed whatever that creature was in the cell with her. She still felt for it. She connected with that person that was in the cell with her. What was it? I was gonna say Leticia, but I think that was the name that she wanted to name her child. But she connected with her, and then she had to slay her, which was so terrible.
Am I making it up, or did she take that thing from her?
She did.
I thought so.
And it was covered in blood at first. And then it transitions right to the scene where she's putting it in her mouth. I'm like,
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I hope it's been years.
Hope you wash that with a lot of soap.
Yeah, but I feel like she's a double agent, though, right? She's come to town under the guise of the Pennsylvania Gaming Department,
Wildlife and fish.
right?
Yeah, the wildlife.
But then she's also, but now we know she's in this order called the Order of the Dragon, right? And we learned that that was her rite of passage to slay that one creature in the cell with her, and is she doing it for the church? Is she doing it for the gaming commission? Is she doing it because she wants to kill other creatures? What is her motivation exactly behind all this, right? What do you guys think?
I don't know.
I think it's both, because you see her character struggling with Christianity, but you always see this character praying. So I think it's just a way of both. And keep it.
And they drop a hint that she had troubles with her father. But you probably know because you've watched it all now, but we don't know yet. But yeah, so
Try not to ruin it for you.
Yeah. So Michael is her father. Okay.
Wait.
Or no.
No.
Her priest, he considers himself her surrogate father, but it just says because she had issues with her father and she didn't say what.
And then the priest said, "Oh, I heard Michael's in town."
Michael is her brother.
Okay. And they didn't really elaborate on that, so I was like, "Wait, who's Michael?"
So vague.
I didn't know who he was yet either.
Very, very vague.
And there is a line where Chasseur talks about being twins and stuff.
Yeah,
she's like, twins run in my family, so I think Michael is their twin brother.
That's what I had written down too somewhere over here.
Very interesting.
It's like I picked up on that twin thing.
There you go.
Getting back to the dung, I wanted to mention how I thought it was funny. She pulls out one hair. There's a bunch of hair in that thing. And I'm you know, even though it's a show, I'm sure they didn't do this because they gotta move the story along. But just from like a crime scene investigator perspective, you would think she would take the whole dung with her, the whole scat, right? I think that's the proper term for it, scat. So she would take the whole wolf scat with her and actually pick that thing apart with her hands and then analyze like every hair.
Everything in there.
Good point.
Yeah. I just you know, little side note there. But yeah, so that flashback with her, it was kind of jarring how the flashback, you know, went. I was really confused when she was in that cell, right? She was in there, and then it went back and forth from the present to the flashback. Did you guys think that was kind of confusing at all?
It was, but I think because we knew that the cell was years ago, 5 years ago, I think the flashback was set or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I think that's why, I mean, I could keep up with it, but I was trying to see where it was going because I didn't think that the girl inside there, the pregnant lady, was going to start turning into whatever she was turning into. I didn't see that part coming.
Now, do you guys think that was a wolf too? It was transforming during the full moon, but it didn't seem like the same kind of wolf as Peter. Right?
I saw some black hairs. I thought it was a wolf, but maybe just because I was thinking Peter's a wolf, so and she's tracking him, so of course it's another wolf and it's a full moon. But I mean, this order of the dragon seems like they know about a lot of sort of mystical creatures, so who knows what all she's hunted and tracked in her days.
I'm so glad that we have a once upon a time person in the studio, 2 people. But you're the one who keeps saying mystical creatures all the time, Tiona.
We're not in Storybrooke, Tiona.
No, but I'm really glad that you are, like, everything aside, because that's so awesome that you can like see those details, like, okay, maybe there's other mystical creatures out there.
Yeah.
Because to me, you know, the logical conclusion would be, okay, it's a full moon, she's turning, kind of similar to Peter, it's probably a wolf. But if you look at the details, she wasn't like shedding her skin in the same way. She was baring her teeth like a lot quicker. Her teeth weren't like falling out, eyeballs didn't fall out. Maybe it didn't get to that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe the red dragon goes around maybe the order of the dragon goes around and they slay creatures, and that's their deal. That's their thing. They protect humanity via the church.
And I think the scene just wants to show that Chasseur can track whatever she's looking for, Peter. You know, like the track being and like know the scent, know how it acts, know when to turn, like all the things of how to track this monster and take it down.
So at this point, after she flat out asks Peter, hey, are you a werewolf? Does she know that he's a werewolf?
That's a really good question. I would say yes, because she seems like a very intuitive and smart investigator, and her being like a hunter of animals, mystical creatures, I think she's able to like really sense things. Like she has like a sixth sense, you know? We see her doing it to everybody in the town. She did it with Christina. She did it with Dr. Pryce. She did it with the sheriff. You know, she gets things out of people. She like really can get under their skin and like get in their mindset and the way they think. Why do you think she has a picture of Peter in her car all the time? She wants to look at her foe, her enemy, the thing she's tracking.
Yeah. But the hair that they found, it was blonde, right?
It was blonde. It was
blonde
from
and
Yeah, it was a man.
male.
And it was like a 200-pound male. So when she was looking at the picture after finding out this information, I was like, well, he doesn't fit the description of what you just said, you know, you're looking for. So why are you still obsessed with him?
Yeah, it's really very odd. And I feel like with Peter too, I'm pretty sure that Peter's not our culprit, right? Like
I don't believe it's Peter.
Yeah, I don't think it's Peter.
It very well could be that he's transforming and he's doing it and he just doesn't remember.
Yeah, there could be that whole twist there,
but I feel like he's the good guy in all this, right? It's like him. It feels like he's good. So it maybe him, you know, him and Roman, they're like the little buddy investigators. They're like the Hardy Boys.
Hardy Boys.
with a crazy like terror twist to it because they're both monsters, right?
Exactly.
And also there's something else regarding Roman. He's an oupir.
What's an oupir?
What is an oupir?
Marisa.
That's what I came in and asked you tonight. Because like, okay.
First of all, I needed to know how to spell it because I was on the internet trying to spell it today, trying to look it up.
There are a couple definitions of oupir. How they use it in this show, they spell it UPIR. And what I've read is that an upir is a form being that walks during the day and sleeps at night, which can have the appearance of a human, but can also, they're more likely to turn on their parents than like their own children and stuff.
Wow. So are you
So
telling?
you can make that
Foreshadowing a little.
presumption of characters.
We can draw our conclusions now.
Yeah.
So
A little
that's
bit, yeah.
why he hates his mother.
She better stop slapping him or he's going to go off pretty soon.
So, but is she an upir too? That's the question. Do you think she might be?
You can't ask her. She knows.
I will plead the fifth.
Uh-oh.
Can't crack me.
No, but that's really weird. I want to talk about something a little bit later, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's move on. If we don't have anything else regarding Chasseur, no, nothing else.
Other than she's badass.
She is badass.
Yeah, I really do kind of like.
She's
that.
cool.
I too.
She rules hardcore, man. She's better than the sheriff. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
way better than Tom.
Way better.
Sheriff Sworn.
Tom's more.
So let's go ahead and talk about Christina kisses a corpse. Oh my goodness. So she did this because she felt like someone was playing a prank on her. Do you think that's a good reason for doing it?
It's true though, because she's young and she doesn't seem like she has a lot of she has a few friends, but she seems like the person a lot of people would pick on and bully a little bit. So and she's kind of used to that, so she just made a joke out of it. And in the book, she does this whole kissing of the corpse scene she plays it out like a joke too.
If it was me, I would have got some mouthwash right away. And I would have been using the whole
The
bottle.
whole bottle, maybe 2 or 3.
So she must have went right away to the police, right, and told them. And man, the maggots on that body were
Yeah.
disgusting.
Nasty.
So realistic.
Yeah.
Or I mean, they might have been real. I don't know, but as soon as they pan down to the whole lower torso, just in all the maggots, I had to pause for a minute. I'll just leave it at that. I had to pause for a minute, catch my breath, because it looked so real. The special effects makeup on this entire show has been so amazing because everything they do looks so real.
Did they say in the story? Did they say that it had been out there for a week, or was it a few
For a week.
days?
Yeah,
a week, right? So it had a lot of time to all get all the rigor started to relax, and
Yeah.
it was probably
Plus-
soft when she
Yeah.
kissed it.
Yeah, and plus, if you think the first body that we see, Brooke Bluebell, she was just freshly killed, and so she still had color to her and whatnot, and she just had it in disembowelment. So we still saw kind of a regular human, but then this body, completely in half. This is what the story in the book is like. You only see the top half. And then she totally examination. Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, totally bled out, right?
Yeah,
There was
totally.
there's nothing left. But it was also interesting how Christina was having these weird visions, right? During those episodes, during that episode, during episode 3, she's approaching there, right? She's approaching the area where the body's deposited, and she ends up seeing a rabbit hole or something, right? And total it must be an Alice in Wonderland
Yeah.
illusion or something, right? Because she looks at it and then she sees herself in a deep, dark, urban kind of
Yeah, it was
wrecked place, right? Maybe the Godfrey Institute steel mill or something.
It's the steel mill.
Yeah.
She was
Okay.
in.
And she's looking, and then while she's seeing herself there, she's looking into another hole in the steel mill, and it's just right?
Yeah.
Do you know, what do you guys think those
Down the
metaphors
rabbit
are?
hole.
Is it just down the rabbit hole?
Down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anybody catch when she saw the body, she dropped her plastic bag? What came out of the plastic bag?
I didn't catch
Ooh,
that.
nobody caught it. She had 3 things in there. She had her notebook, which she always
Notebook?
carries. She had a Coke can, and she had Magnum condoms. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Naughty.
Christina.
Naughty.
What the heck is she doing? You guys didn't catch that?
I totally missed that.
I was just watching her run away.
Dude, I paused it on there because I'm a guy, so I know what condom rolls look like, and she had 3 or 4 or something Magnum condoms in her bag.
So what was she out there
Wow.
trying to do?
I don't know.
Writing.
But now that you say that, I do believe in the book they mention her buying condoms. And
Yeah.
then, the cashiers giving her judgmental looks.
Maybe she's gonna get more experiences to write in her book.
Yeah, she's an
exactly
author.
why
She
she
needs
does
to. She needs to experience everything.
I guess so.
Well, good for her. She's being safe.
Gotta give her that.
Yeah.
So right after this whole incident, it seems kind of like she's okay, but then like the more that episode goes on, episode 3, we see she's getting really disturbed, right? She's having like post-traumatic stress. Yeah, nightmares. She's even sleeping over at her friend's house, which is Sheriff Sworn's daughters, right? She's sleeping in their room, and she's still getting all nutso, right? And do they end up, is it a nightmare when they take her to the hospital and sedate her, or did it really happen?
I thought it really did. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like that to me too. But just so crazy, so like nightmare-like, like everything that's happening to her. But then at the same time, when Sworn comes home, she ends up having a conversation with him, and then he says something really interesting, like, sometimes I forget who the adult is around here. Do you remember what she said?
Yeah, I wrote that one down. She said that, she has had time to think about it, and she thinks that all these bad things that have happened to her, is because she's a writer, and she now is embracing them because they each bring her closer to enlightenment.
Yeah.
So that's when
And
he was
my
like,
question with that was, what other bad things have happened to her in her life? Because she says all these things that but she's all these horrible things that happened to me. I know of one horrible thing that happened to her, which is kissing a corpse. But what else has happened to her in her backstory?
Well, we do know one thing. She said she's at her grandparents sometimes, and here's the second thing we know. We've never seen her parents. Where are her parents? Does she live with them? Are they dead?
And I thought that his daughter said something about her parents when she woke up screaming. They're like, maybe we should call her parents. And I couldn't catch what they were saying. Oh, yeah. Did anyone catch what they said? No.
No, I didn't get it.
I just learned how to use subtitles on Netflix, so I will definitely go back and watch that. Because I couldn't figure out what they said.
But we also see Christina's hair changing to white.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Maybe it's just the distress of what's happening.
Yeah, in episode 5, we see, like, it's right after she has that weird conversation with Peter, right? She's talking to him, and she's saying, you won't get away with it. And that's what we're seeing throughout all the trailers and promos for it, right? But Peter's good. She doesn't think he's good after that whole conversation, the little playful conversation near the hammock.
That's the one thing I don't kind of like about Christina, is how she's quickly judging that it's him and spreading the rumors, which are then, she said to Clementine, oh, he wouldn't have been, dumb enough to leave marks like that, and then that leads her to Peter. I'm just like, you don't have any proof besides his fingers being the same size or the same length, and that's the part of me that's like, you shouldn't just go out there throwing things out there because people, are going to believe you, and it's kind of ruining his life. It's inconveniencing his life, I should say.
Yeah, that's a good point.
For no reason, well, for what I believe is no reason. I don't know if Peter might turn out to be a bad guy at this point, but yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about Christina right now.
Yeah.
She keeps making me mad about that.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
How is she a freshman? Is it confirmed that she's a freshman in high school? Yeah.
Because in the book she's 13, but in the show they mentioned that she's 14. So she has to be a freshman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it. Well, unless there's anything else about Christina kissing the corpse. Anybody? No? Well, let's talk about our iTunes account. Everybody, all of our fans out there, everybody listening to, watching us right now, go ahead and check out the iTunes store. Type into the search bar Hemlock Grove. Guess what? We're the first podcast that comes up. We're awesome. We've already gotten quite a few ratings on there.
Thank you.
We're missing some comments, reviews. Yeah. Give us some love, people. This is only our second show, I know, but come on, like give us something here. We want to be able to give you guys a shout out. We want to be able to talk about your thoughts and discuss it here on the show, and we always give everybody a shout out. And Tiona, you said that there were some comments on YouTube. Did you happen to get the handles or like the usernames of the people?
I didn't write them down, but I'll pull them up on my iPad and I'll give them a shout out after the next topic.
Sure, but go ahead and rate and comment us. Give us 5 stars. We're already up there on 5 stars, so we're feeling good. We're feeling the love. And tell a friend, because it only takes a minute, right? Anyway, back to Destiny getting possessed. So we talked about that a lot when we had Kaniehtiio Horn on the phone, but so we get introduced to Destiny within was it episode 3?
Episode 3.
It was.
So we find out she's a prostitute. And is she a witch? Or a witch gypsy? What do you think?
She seems kind of like a con artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is a con artist because that's how she got that couple who was going to have a threesome with her. I guess she didn't want to do it with them, and she ended up vomiting blood, as you pointed out, JJ.
Yeah,
And
blood and it's
what
the
looks
balls
like
on
rocks
the
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be your
Scared 'em
secret
away.
whore. Best line ever.
What if those were like anal beads or something? And then she puked them up after. They were saying, yeah, do that, do that.
Well, this is probably TMI. When I first saw it, I thought it was like I'm thinking a guy's balls, you know, because they were with this couple. And so, but then I looked to make sure that I knew he still had his clothes on and stuff. I'm like, well, what was that supposed to be? But she didn't tell us today on the phone.
You guys give me crap for my question, then say that.
And then,
Hey.
but then she was like, suckers.
Yeah.
Definitely a con artist.
Yeah, and off the air, Marisa and I were talking about how everything she does, everything that Destiny does, it's just like on to the next thing. You know,
Yeah.
it just rolls right off her back, you know, like a duck with water, right?
Yeah, even when she took that worm, she took it with the shot of tequila, which I thought was awesome because it reminded me of like a Mexican tequila. With the worm in it and everything.
If you're consuming a worm, I would take a shot of tequila too.
Yeah.
So,
And she's like, oh, let me go brush my teeth real quick.
brush my teeth.
And it's with her conversation with Peter that Peter reveals to her Roman may be an oupir. And then that's where they discuss it, and she's like, "An oupir? You let an oupir see you change?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!" Like, and she makes a big stink out of it, right?
Yeah, she told him to run. Like,
So I guess
from him.
werewolves and oupirs don't get along.
I guess they don't.
Guess not.
Yeah.
Which is another interesting thing because in the first episode, we were told that only Linda, Peter's mom, and Roman are the only people that know. But we know that Destiny knows, even though she is family. She also knows too. So who else might know?
Intriguing point. Fans, tweet at us, comment us, let us know what you
Christina
think.
thinks she knows.
She thinks she does.
She thinks she knows.
She hasn't seen it though.
Yeah, she hasn't seen it.
She saw what happened afterward. Well, Peter didn't do it. But why did they choose the guts when they went to go dig up that one girl? They exhumed her body. Why do you think she wanted them to do the guts? Did she say that, or was it Peter's choice? Is it because
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know either. But well, apparently the worm likes guts, so that's what it needed to go ahead and give her the visions. I'm wondering if the worm, this caterpillar, this inchworm, whatever she had in her little garden, I wonder if it's a special worm, or do you think it's just a regular worm, and she's like Tiio said on the phone, she's just getting in touch, getting more in tune with what it consumed, and it like consumed the girl's flesh, and now she's like getting the flesh visions or something.
I took it that way.
Yeah.
Like just more of her way to get connected and really have that. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that.
That.
Other than Peter's transformation, I feel like this was my favorite scene where she was possessed.
Oh.
And it just, she looks so different, right? When she had the contacts in and just like her eyes like getting all big like that, she looked like a scary cartoon.
And the lighting too.
Yeah, the
She
lighting
was all
changed.
lit up, even though her eyes were dark, and her hair got all mangled. It was serious.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool. And to have the hair even just getting in front of her face a little bit, it made it seem much more real doing that. I really like that a lot.
It was an intense scene, but it was really cool to watch her. I guess her version of a transformation.
Yeah, I wonder how many more times she's going to do that.
I
the
just
show.
want to keep
few
seeing
more.
her do like
Few more.
random stuff like this, you know?
Yeah.
I want to say her character to Peter, she's like an advisor, like a soothsayer kind
Yeah,
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus a friend.
What?
Kinda
Yeah,
like a
plus a friend.
plus a
you
friend.
know, just to
sister
talk
type.
to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
taking care of
I
him.
love the
making sure-
cousin relationship in the show because both Roman and Letha, they're close, and Peter and Destiny are close.
She does hug him a lot.
Yeah.
I don't get the creepy vibe from the
it's not.
Peter
Yeah.
Destiny one though.
No,
you know,
no,
like
no.
it's yeah.
But I find it interesting how Roman and Peter, they have a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
They do. I do like to see her hug him in those short shorts, though. she's very attractive.
Cute girl.
She's awesome.
So, unless there's anything else about that, nope, nothing. Shelley glows. What's up with that? Okay, so when I first saw this scene, when Roman, he's bathing her, right? Which is
creepy.
Kind of creepy, but kind of, if you look...
It was sweet, but it was still kind of creepy.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah, you're right, Tiona. It feels like it's, you know, it's loving. You know that they have a good brotherly, sisterly relationship. And he always takes care of her. He sticks up for her. He does what he can. He gives her rides home from school. But so getting to the meat of what we're going to talk about, he touches her. And when I first saw that, I was like, dude, is that an Upir power? Is he like making her glow, right? And it gives us like a little bit of a hint, something to think about. So what did you guys like think that was?
I liked when she glows because it shows every time Shelley is emotional. Even though she does seem like a beastly kind of being, we don't know if because she can't talk, and we don't really see a lot of emotions from this. So just having her glow is that physical reinforcement that she does have emotion. She does have human qualities to her.
Yeah, she does smile a lot, actually, which is pretty cool. And even when she winks, she closes her eyes. You know, it's very human feeling, even though there's something clearly wrong with her, right?
Or different with her.
Yeah, it made me think about what did Dr. Pryce or whoever do to her? Like, what kind of creation did he? Like, I feel like, you know, this was what he created, and then it was I don't know what he did yet or how, you know, but I was like, oh, it was like the first glimpse into that, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, you're right, JJ. It made us think, like, why is that happening, right? So first, I think it's the Upir power, okay? And then they do the flashback, and they show, like, Shelley, like, being moved into the Godfrey Institute 14 years earlier in like, a coffin, pretty much, right? And they're saying something like...
baby kid coffin.
Yeah, a baby-sized coffin, obviously, because she was probably, like, less than 1 year old at the time. So they bring her in there, and who knows what they did to her to revive her. And then another clue. The next clue was when Dr. Johann Pryce, he's talking. I forgot who he was talking with. He was talking to Chasseur, or was he talking to Norman? He was talking to one of them, and he says something about their projects that he's doing, and one of them is using phosphorus on inanimate life to make it so that they're living again in place of whatever was missing from them since they're dead.
He showed that to Shelley, that plant thing.
The flower.
Yeah, the flower.
Yeah. And they've been saying that about all the flowers, like, oh, yep, it's not real, but, you know, even the animals can tell. You and I can't tell, but the animals, like the bees, they probably can't tell. I mean, they can tell.
They can tell.
Yeah, they can tell that it's not real. And I did some research on phosphorus, and apparently phosphorus has it's a chemolumination quality when it's exposed to oxygen. And you would think that she would be glowing all the time, right?
Yeah.
If that was the case, and she's made out of phosphorus and she was revived with it, and it's part of her DNA. Well, it is part of our DNA, but like she's more based with phosphorus. However, it's only a quick effect. So whenever it's exposed to oxygen, it only lasts for a few seconds, and then you can't see it anymore. So maybe like he's scraping, like what Roman was doing was he was like scraping a little bit of her skin away, and then it just got, because no one touches her, right? No one else touches her.
Because I was trying to remember when Roman took her to the general store, I guess, where I forget the character's name, but they were trying on the earrings.
Jenny?
I don't think that she ever touched her, but I know Shelley talked about like the touch of, you know, on your skin. And then with the phosphorus thing, Roman's hands, weren't they wet?
Yeah.
When he went in for that, because he had been washing her, maybe that had something to do with it, because the water would take away something.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
There's like the chemical reaction that's produced is like HPO. I know I'm so nerdy saying this. It's HPO, and then I forget what the rest of it is, but it's like phosphorus mixing with the oxygen and hydrogen in the air, and it creates that quick chemical reaction that's just like that chemoluminescence.
Yeah.
Just very interesting. Anyway, anything else regarding Shelley?
No, sorry.
Well, we also see Shelley send another email to Norman talking about Olivia and her behavior and how Olivia's more tightly wound these days.
Yeah, we do. And then I don't know if you want to talk about more in that, but what I took away from that email was that dragon thing that she said.
Me too. I had that written down too.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing she said. Today I've seen the dragon.
Which is the same thing that Francis had said, the mental patient.
Yeah.
who we found.
The mental patient.
That's what I have. Well,
Careful, you don't want to offend
yeah, I
anyone.
don't want to offend anyone, but he is under psychiatric.
Yes.
I thought like just might be a little detail that I noticed when during scene where Shelley's instant messaging Norman, her icon is a butterfly, and whereas there was that one episode where Olivia was telling the story to the moth story
Yeah.
to Roman. So I think it's interesting how Shelley is a butterfly and Roman is a moth.
She.
Even though they're the kind of same family, but they're different.
Yeah. He's that emperor moth who's supposed to be weak when he comes out of the shell, and his mom's trying to free him, but he's still weak anyway, right?
Yeah, still needs help.
And she's a big, beautiful butterfly. Very big.
She is.
Yep.
Very strong, too. But, man, there's something else I wanted to say. Oh, I wanted to mention about Francis. He, regarding his eye, did you guys notice how one eye's messed up?
Yes.
Compared, was there any, did you guys think there was any symbolism, metaphors there?
I wasn't sure if that's actually his eye color, like if that's the actor's true eyes or not. Sorry.
I definitely think there's something with the eye. Everything is involving eyes in the show. Like they put the drugs in the eyes, you know.
I wrote that down too.
And that's in the same, I think the same eye.
Well, I did some research.
Yeah, there's the right,
Same eye,
his
right?
eye is messed up.
It is.
But I wrote.
And then Shelley's eye is weird. There's a lot of,
Yeah, there's
Her right eye also is messed
it's
up.
all in the eye.
And the last thing we saw Olivia do before she went to the party was she put the drops in her right eye.
And another thing about eyes and vision is an integral part too, because the first thing we see in Peter's transformation, the eyes pop out, and there's a line where you can tell it by the eyes about Upirs. You can tell it in their eyes that they're different. And when Letha was talking about her baby after she had her sonogram, she was wondering the colors of the irises.
They can see them already.
Yeah.
Oh, no, well, they can see the irises
Right.
developing.
Yeah, they can see the iris, and she was wondering the color. And Francis Pullman says he can see things that he doesn't want to see.
And there was when Peter had his dream after he transformed, and Roman's shirt, like when he bled through the shirt, in there was like the triangle with the Ouroboros and the eye in the middle.
That's right.
Right. And another thing is when they're quickly cutting the quick flashes of the werewolf, you can see the yellow eyes.
Oh, yeah, and when Destiny was actually possessed and she was being interrogated, you know, to weld for information, she ends up saying something about the wolf's eyes, the one that attacked her,
Yellow
the one
eyes.
that the victim saw.
Yeah. His big
the
black
yellow eyes.
The yellow eyes.
But getting back to Francis, actually, I wanted to mention how I was doing more research into Ouroboros, and I actually did this a while ago before the last show we did, and I forgot. I really wanted to mention it, but I think it's really relevant here. It's that in mythology, I think there's something to do with Ouroboros ends up. I might be mixing this up here, but Ouroboros ends up mating, or maybe this is something totally different, mating or fighting with somebody. and then it's
Either ways.
either way, and it's some like Viking or some kind of European myth. And then the son of that guy ends up being born with a snake in his eye that shows. It's like the Ouroboros that's showing in his eye.
Interesting.
A little parallel there between Francis, between everybody else on the show with eyes. Perhaps.
Interesting.
Yeah, but anything else on that? I don't think so. Lastly, Pryce reveals his strength. How crazy is this guy, right?
Yeah.
He is so calculated. He's got such mental prowess
Cold.
and cold. And when he's talking with Chasseur, he reveals that he can snap like this whatever device, his electronic recording.
Voice recorder.
Yeah, his voice recorder. He snaps it in half with his bare hands, and it's like with one hand too. It's like, dude, are you like superhuman? What's going on here?
Well, and she's like, yeah, and you know this makes you a suspect now, idiot.
He's really arrogant to do that.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about him. He just, I mean, of course he's a great character, but he's just so cocky and just so snooty that I'm just like, oh, I don't like him.
So condescending.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so condescending. And whenever him and Norman are in the same room, Norman is the one who seems to be pissing all over him, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Like when they have the conversation and they're drinking their brandy, and Norman just downs the whole thing, and he's just like,
Yeah.
drops it on the lab floor. And he's like, yeah, you guys picked that up.
Go Norman.
Yeah, I like that scene too. It's great.
And if you think of the environment, every time we see Pryce, he's always in a cold environment. Like the lighting is blue and very, very cold and steel, kind of, which translates to his character as well. Like really no emotion, no warmth.
Yeah, I feel like you're right. Anyway, we learned a lot more about him and his experiments. It seems like he's doing human trials, and are those like sanctioned by the FDA?
No.
I don't think so.
I would imagine.
I don't think
I don't
so.
think you're supposed to do that.
No, but this is really interesting now that we've learned how strong he is, because this makes him even more of a threat.
Well, we learned I wrote down it was better reincarnation through chemistry was his article that he was like known for before. So yeah, he's definitely doing some not so sanctioned things.
Yeah, that's right, JJ, and that's where he talked about the phosphorus being introduced into the body of a dead corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also
Exactly.
now Pryce has to build an a wing for Letha.
Obstetric.
Oh God, I'm
A maternity ward.
obstetric.
Obstetrician.
Obstetric.
OBGYN.
Yes. One of those wings
People are
for
gonna have
Letha.
babies over there.
One of those wings for Letha so she can have her baby there. Only because Olivia told him to.
And that's how much of an influence the Godfrey family has over Pryce and everything that's going on in the Godfrey Institute. Obviously, their names on the side of the building, like, but are they that rich where they're the ones who are like the sole funders of the organization? They're not getting any like government grants or anything. Maybe that's how they're doing all these human experiments.
That's true.
Well, it kind of seems like it because in the first episode we see Olivia talking. Well, actually, Norman comes to Olivia talking about this budget plan proposal, and then we see in tonight's episode that whatever Pryce is okay. Finances aren't her problem. So they're loaded.
And Norman doesn't seem like he wants to sell his part because they have, what was the group who they have like waiting to take over his portion of the backload, since Norman seems to not really want to be involved, but I think he also always wants to be involved so that he can make sure he knows what they're up to, because he doesn't trust anyone in there.
No, he doesn't. Well, we would be fools if we went on to news and gossip yet. We're not going to go there yet. But let's talk about this very last couple minutes for this. Okay, what's up with the party and all the crazy stuff that happens at the gala, right?
Okay.
So
Why does Letha keep getting sick every time she talks about her baby? Because in the car when she was with her dad, and she was like, "Oh, they were leaving the doctor's office," and she's like, "Oh, I wonder, you can always already see the irises, and I wonder what her hair is gonna be like." And then all of a sudden she's like, "I don't feel so well. I need some fresh air."
Oh yeah.
And then when they're at the bar and Roman's saying, "Hey, we're gonna build this wing so you can have the baby here," and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden that's when she starts throwing up. So every time someone mentions the baby, she gets sick. What is growing inside her?
You know what? That's a really good point you bring up, Tiona, because she was so determined to have the baby, and she didn't want to hear from anybody else to have an abortion, but her body's saying something different. There's something going on with that baby. Something's wrong.
Yeah. Well, and even Francis had told Norman, remember when they had the session too, that he's like, I saw it. I saw what's inside your daughter's stomach.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, did he say like a demon or something?
I don't think he didn't say what. He just said, I saw what was inside, I think,
See
right?
the thing.
Yeah, the thing.
Well, I rewatched episode 2 and remember when Paulman's on the road and he looks at Norman and he says, I know what you are.
No, Roman.
Or Roman, yeah. He looks
Yeah.
at Roman and says, I know what you are. And then he looks, you don't know that he's looking at her, but he looks to the left and that's where she is. And she says, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Like he's seeing what's inside her.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we saw at the end of episode 3, I believe, when Francis is talking to Norman, the thing that's growing inside your daughter.
So
Something's
Yeah.
up.
Something's up.
So Roman ends up exchanging glances with the blonde chick across. Who was that?
That was
Somebody's wife. This guy's wife. The guy who was like shit talking him the whole time.
the drunk guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drunk
His
guy.
wife.
And he ended that was so funny how he ended up peeing all over the floor, and everybody was in there. Norman was in there,
He don't care.
and then Roman overheard the whole thing, and he was like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna f your wife in a little bit."
And he did just that.
He did, and what was up with that? Like she was sexy, by the way. I must say, she did look very nice, but she ends up giving him a BJ, and let's fast forward. He ends up cutting himself.
He finds a blade and that was a deep cut too, and a long one across his whole chest.
Yeah, and he was like oozing, and it even rained on her too.
Yeah,
And
that was nasty. Because in the book, that does not happen. He does. He actually cuts himself over the eye, not on the chest.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting a little like he did in the car, just a little bit, but then when it starts pouring on her and just gushing out.
Yeah, that was
He has a
expecting
thing
that
for
one.
blood.
Yep.
He definitely does.
total insanity. But I don't know if we mentioned this earlier, but so Olivia, she's wearing not just white this time. She's wearing white and black, and then we get to see an over-the-shoulder shot of her from behind, and it's all black, so it's totally different than what we've seen her in,
Yeah.
right?
It's going to be interesting to
I
see
just
what she
gotta
was
say-
looking at.
Yeah, I just gotta say, every time we see Olivia, we always see like low angles from her, which makes her seem, and Famke Janssen's already tall in real life, but just makes her character seem so much superior to other people, just like she's constantly towering over people. Therefore,
true.
like reinforcing her power to a character.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Anything else on that?
Guys, we didn't talk about the Varg wolf.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Roman and Peter.
So the Varg wolf is supposed to be this rogue wolf who's out there, right? He's probably a gypsy, right? But much like Peter and his family. But what was wrong with him again? He just doesn't. He's not
a wolf that's gone insane.
Yeah.
gone insane.
This attacks out of anger. And usually werewolves only attack when they're hungry or provoked, and this one is, and usually they eat what they kill, but this one didn't eat what it killed. So it's attacking out of anger.
Yeah, so we're gonna see who the Varg wolf is, and they're trying to find it. They're doing their little Hardy Boys action,
Yeah.
trying to discover who it is.
So I did a little research on this too.
Oh, do it to it.
All right.
Okay, so in the Norse mythology, a Varg wolf is a wolf. In particular, it refers to the wolf Fenrir and his sons Skull and Hati, based on the J.R.R. Tolkien and the use of his Old English. So one of the references, because when I heard that name Fenrir, I thought of Harry Potter. Greyback, and I never put the correlation together before, but basically he is a guy, like in Harry Potter, he's someone who's known for attacking children. And so far, both of the victims we've seen attacked have been not children, but they're teenagers, high school students. So
Not quite adults.
yeah, not quite adults. So I thought that was a good little like correlation of maybe that's the MO there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very good.
And I'm a Harry Potter nerd, so
Nicely done.
We got a few other good.
Oh, I was gonna say, are you also a J.R.R. Tolkien nerd, Hobbit nerd?
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. All right. I haven't seen The Hobbit yet, but I
haven't
really
seen it yet.
I enjoyed all the. What was it? The Ring series.
Lord of the
Rings.
Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fellowship of the Ring, and I think that was my favorite one, personal favorite.
Yeah.
We also got another nugget in these episodes too, where we learned that Peter's uncle was a killer. Nikolai.
Oh, what did
Grandfather.
So he was,
sorry, grandfather.
He was also a Varg wolf.
Well, he didn't know, but he was a killer. He was like in the one scene where Peter comes to talk to Roman in his house. They're talking about the pool table, and he's afraid that Clementine's going to dig up this information about his grandfather and find out that his grandfather was a killer, and then somehow he thought that would also, then she would assume that he's like his grandfather and he's also a killer, and so she's going to throw him in jail or in a cage, he says.
Yeah.
So that was something we didn't know about his grandfather, and that's why he has the little G, because he's an
Gajo.
outsider.
Gajo.
Yeah.
And how about the fact that he had to slice the head off of his
Yeah.
grandfather as a
did.
teenager?
Yeah, that's kind of messed up. I saw it more like an initiation. kind of deal.
Okay.
Total post-traumatic stress he's got going on right there, but he doesn't show it very much.
No, he doesn't. But that was. He did it in one swoop too. Like that's a lot of bones. So that's a really sharp knife and a lot of force.
For a kid, that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
They were drinking whiskey.
He got his strength up, right? No, but the Gaucho thing, I wanted to mention that actually because I'm reminded of, I'm such a nerd here, I'm reminded of anime, this particular one called Cowboy Bebop. And it's a really good anime from the 90s. Yeah, Steven's with me. Really, it's probably my favorite anime of all time. And they refer to one of the main characters. His name's Spike Spiegel. He's like a bounty hunter and stuff. But they refer to him because they have so many different cultures that they deal with, but it takes place in space. Yeah. So anyway, they refer to him as Gaucho probably because he's like a gypsy. Like he moves around, he goes to different places all the time. Very interesting little parallel there.
Well, the thing in the book, they talk about Nikolai's background, how he became a Gaucho outsider, is that his family, Nikolai is the seventh son of 7 sons. So, like, he has a lot of brothers, and all of them, before the moon, the harvest moon, before the night that they were going to turn, they would all get together and drink and take like a goat or a pig and chow down on that for fun, and it became this wild.
While they were turned.
Yeah, like the night of the turning, they made it into this wild kind of frenzy party tradition thing for them, and then being not really thinking in the moment, they took away the animal while Nikolai was eating, and then he turned on one of his brothers. So therefore, and in their society, that's a big no-no. You're not supposed to do that, and therefore everyone turned on him and like called him an outsider. You're not supposed to kill, other brothers.
Oh. Did they talk about this in the book, or
in the book? This is in the book.
It's all from the book.
Yeah.
Wow.
So and then Peter stands by Nikolai, so he supports him being a Gaucho.
It sounds like the book's a really good supplement to the TV show.
Yeah,
the filler information.
Yeah. Thank you, Marisa.
Yes.
But unless anybody has anything else, let's move on to our news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So I got a little bit of quirky, fun things. I visited the Pennsylvania Wildlife and Gaming Commission website.
All out.
What did you find?
And it's the same symbol that she has. Did you? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you guys notice that she has a symbol on her thing, which is so funny because it's like a cute-looking jacket, right? Total Forever 21 looking jacket, and it's got the Pennsylvania Wildlife Gaming Commission patch on there. So anyway, they don't have wolves. At least they don't have very many. They don't say anything about wolves on their website in Pennsylvania. They do mention coyotes though.
Oh.
So, Steven, thank you, Steven. You brought it up already, but I got my picture here.
Yeah.
Of my coyote. And what's actually pretty interesting about that, it's kind of like you have to go a little bit deeper into the site, Steven. But I checked out the PDF too, and I was reading about it, and one of the things it said is that they're the biggest canine that's in Pennsylvania. So that means there's no wolves, right? Because wolves are a lot bigger than coyotes. But even still, these coyotes, they range from the males 45 to 55 pounds, even being 60 at the biggest. They're 5 feet long. And the females are at the low end 35 pounds.
Wow.
So that's still pretty scary.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a lot bigger than the coyotes out here.
But also they've also done DNA testing, and they noticed that they have done interbreeding across species with the gray wolf. So they do have some gray wolf in their DNA, in their blood, down there, like in their ancestors. It's very fascinating.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody? News and gossip from anybody else?
I'll give a shout out to the YouTube users right now.
Yeah.
The commenters. Polylove37, Loki Star 45. I'm gonna mess this up. Amaro Lachey, and the Swag Maniac.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, thank you for your comments, guys.
Did anybody say anything of note that you want to read out?
Hang on, let me look. I love. Oh, what happened to the giant sister? I'm confused. Shelley.
Well, we've been discussing that this whole episode. We don't know the exact answer yet. Who was the user on that?
That was Polylove37.
Polylove37.
I think you're onto it with the phosphorus, and because he said that that's what his paper is about. He gave it to infants.
Yeah.
I think he testing her out.
And I just gotta give a shout out to the whole cast of Hemlock.
Yeah.
And they're all retweeting and favoriting and everything. And I've tweeted a lot of stuff, and they've retweeted and commented. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's
So
really
shout out
great
to you
community.
guys.
Yeah,
You're
they're a very
amazing.
active group.
Yeah, I love it.
Landon Liberon, I know I'm saying his last name right, but Landon, who plays Peter, check this out. He made this on his, what was it? He tweeted this on his Twitter account, but this is pretty much a picture, what was it called? I Made Face?
I Made Face.
I Made Face. It's like an app that you can use on your iPhone or iPad, whatever iDevice, and it totally looks like him, right? So if you guys want to,
Yeah.
you can find him on Twitter, and his name is Landon Libo Iron. I'm saying that so badly. Anyway, and lastly, we're gonna have Freya Tingley
Yes.
in the studio.
Freya Tingley in studio next week.
I'm excited.
Yay.
And Marie Godfrey, Lori Fortier will be coming in a few weeks later.
Yeah, about Freya Tingley, she also retweeted something that Hemlock Grove's account on Twitter retweeted, or tweeted, and it said here, mixing with the @Netflix family, we caught #Hemlock Groves @Freya Tingley, along with the Bluths also, and she was at the red carpet event for Arrested Development, which was this Monday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, over there and over here in LA.
It's like showing love for all the Netflix families.
And I am such a moron because I got an email for the screening exchange to go see this, and I was like, oh, I'll respond to it in a little bit. I got the email like at probably like 8 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock or something, and then I checked back 3 hours later, not available anymore. Gone. And I probably could have saw her. I could have met her. I could have met like the cast of Arrested Development too. Oh man.
Darn.
Boo.
Darn.
Anyway, I think that about does it for our news and gossip. Prediction time.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions. Predictions.
Yes, Steven, I love it when you do that. I love when you do the echo. It's my favorite. Predictions. So I feel like Roman's gonna get hospitalized because of him with his gaping wound on his chest, right? But I feel like they're gonna skip over it. I hope they don't. I want to see what happens to him like immediately after that, and I want to see everybody's reaction because I'm sure that the people at the gala are gonna find out about this, and I want to know what they're gonna think about his crazy ways. I also feel like Olivia's gonna find out that him and Peter have been hanging out too much, and she's gonna tell him to stay away even more. Maybe Peter will even visit him in the hospital, and Olivia will be there to do a little road blocking. You know, I wanted to say another word there.
Well, I won't give any predictions, but I just want to mention in episode 3, there was a moment where Peter talks about the dragons, Knights of the Crusade.
Yeah.
And he says this line, I always wanted to be a warrior. So that's just a little foreshadowing.
Foreshadow.
I like how she just drops these little.
Yeah.
Just a little foreshadowing there.
I want to see more action.
I'm excited because I really hope that the next episode picks up right where this left off, because I don't know what was happening at the gala, but Olivia was in the middle of her speech, and then, you know, it's right after Roman cut himself, and then you see Norman in the crowd looking really sort of pleased at something, and then you see Olivia kind of turning to look, and she looks frightened at what she might be turning to see. I don't know what that might be, but I'm excited to see it, and I kind of feel like Roman's injury is going to be healed over in some sort of like his power, like maybe that's how he'll find out, like, oh, I'm not as human as I thought I was.
Oh, this is normal.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna, you know, like will it and it will seal up or something sort of. I don't want to keep using magical, but that's the only word I can think of right now. Once upon a time.
Supernatural.
Supernatural, that's the word I'll use here.
I'm just predicting a big blow up between Olivia and Roman.
Yeah.
She's slapping him around this time. I just think eventually he's just not going to take it.
That was a hard slap.
Yeah, 3 of them, not just one. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
So we know that he has like this ability to kind of control people, make them do something.
Yeah.
Does it not work on his mom, or is he afraid to use it on his mom?
Maybe he doesn't
thing
realize
is,
that he's doing it.
When Olivia was slapping him, it makes it look like she was trying to push Roman. Because she's like, nod if you understand me. And then he nods, and he doesn't say anything else. He just walks away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But she walks away, I think.
Yeah. Like they both walk away. So, but it makes me think that maybe Olivia was trying to use that same glamour or whatever thing on Roman.
Glamour thing.
What do you call it in True Blood?
Yeah.
You're right.
Glamour. Glamour.
No, I just think it sounds funny because I've never seen True Blood except for the pilot episode. I hope that the killer is actually one of the main cast members, the main characters, because I think it would be such a disappointment if it was just some random person out of nowhere. And it would
Totally
be like,
agree.
Dude, are you serious, man? Like all this build up with the characters, and we end up having this guy come in.
Yeah.
At least have it be Francis or something.
Yeah. I completely
What
agree
if
with you
it's
on that.
Letha? Because she's pregnant now, kind of like the girl who was in the cell with Clementine. Pregnant with what? And yeah.
And she's the
And
most
she's
person.
she's like the sweetest person in the world.
You would never expect
You wouldn't
her.
think she was doing evil things.
Wow, Tiona, if you're right, I'm gonna take you out for sushi.
Yes!
Seriously, man.
I
That's
think she might be
amazing.
onto something.
Hopefully.
You can't read me.
We'll see.
I don't know. I was trying.
Poker face.
Poker face.
I think that really makes sense. That would yeah.
Well, anyway,
We'll see.
I think that about does it here for us at AfterBuzz TV's Hemlock Grove After Show. I had a really fun time this week, guys, and I know you guys all did. I hope our fans at home listening or watching really enjoyed the show, and tune in next week, okay? Because we got Freya Tingley, who plays Christina.
Christina Wendell.
she's
We
gonna-
have a lot of big names coming up. Thank you, Tiio Horn, for
Yes.
calling
Yeah,
us
thank
in.
you.
Thank you so much.
Great insight.
And if you guys want to follow us, you can follow me at Sean Austino on Twitter. Same thing for Instagram.
You can tweet your predictions at me because I've read the book. At Serafini TV.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TweetT22.
And I'm at JJ Jurgens.
Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.